A glance at a traditional map of the world shows neatly printed names and sharp lines dividing countries from one another. When the view switches to satellite imagery or pictures taken from the space, human political boundaries often disappear. But sometimes the political realities of a country are so stark that they can be seen even from hundreds of kilometers from Earth. In this video we show you 10 international borders that are distinctly visible from space. Watch out for 3 bonus entries too. With that, let's start. The Anti-Atlas Mountains of Morocco formed as a result of the collision of the African and Eurasian tectonic plates about 80 million years ago. Limestone, sandstone, claystone, and gypsum layers form complex folding, as visible from this 2007 satellite false-color infrared image. The Moroccan Anti-Atlas Mountains and the Algerian Hamada, the driest and most inhospitable area of the Sahara Desert in Algeria, are separated by the Drâa River. Of its total length of 700 miles, a 200-mile stretch in the southwestern direction forms a natural border between both countries. The dramatic topography in the southwestern portion of the border is quite easily visible from orbiting satellites. The Berlin Wall was a guarded concrete barrier that physically and ideologically divided Berlin from 1961 to 1989. The wall cut off West Berlin from surrounding East Germany, including East Berlin. This picture, taken in 2012 by European Space Agency astronaut André Kuipers from aboard the International Space Station, captured something unbelievable. Even after 30 years since the fall of the Berlin Wall, the division between East and West Berlin can still be seen from space. The yellow lights correspond to East Berlin and the greener tones show West Berlin. Flying over East Asia in 2014, astronauts on the International Space Station took this night image of the Korean peninsula. Unlike daylight images, city lights at night illustrate dramatically the relative economic importance of cities. Both China and South Korea are heavily illuminated in night, but North Korea is completely engulfed in darkness. So dark in fact that it matches the blackness of the Yellow Sea. Only Pyongyang, North Korea's capital, appears dimly lit. The difference is stark when compared to Seoul, the capital of South Korea. Night light data from satellites shows not much has changed even in 2021. The per capita power consumption in South Korea is over 10,000 kilowatt-hours per person compared to North Korea that fails to even provide 750 kilowatt-hours per person. Just like North Korea, Lesotho is also entirely dark in the night. In nightlight satellite imageries, Lesotho, an enclaved country within the borders of South Africa, can be seen as a pitch-black patch of land. Few lights near the capital region are present, but the difference compared to South African cities, like Johannesburg and Pretoria, is enormous. Lesotho is one of the world's least developed countries and has a per capita GDP of just over $1,100. The Indian landmass traveled 3,700 miles before colliding with Asia about 40 to 50 million years ago. The 1,500 miles arc of Himalayas is hard to miss from space. The arc acts as a climatological barrier as well as a natural border between the Indian subcontinent and the Tibetan Plateau. In these satellite images, the drier and colder side of the northern Himalayas forms part of China, while the temperate and greener side forms Nepal and Bhutan. The arc quite clearly delineated the original India-China eastern border before border disputes began. The border image, published in National Geographic's 1989 issue, started a discussion of conservation between the presidents of Guatemala and Mexico. Satellite images showed such a stark line between forest clearing in Mexico and untouched forest in Guatemala that it became the driving force behind the establishment of 4 million acres of protected lands in Guatemala. However, the present scenario shows differently. The vegetation-led divide is closing due to continued deforestation, but is still visible in some areas. The satellite image of Haiti and Dominican Republic, released by NASA in 2002, shocked the world. One could easily see the lush forest still thriving on the Dominican Republic side of the border, and in sharp contrast to the large amount of deforestation on Haitian side of the border. What's more, the economic hardships faced by Haiti are also clearly discernible from city lights at night. The latest satellite images show that the largely poor and poverty-ridden Haiti is rendered pitch black at night, while Dominican Republic is thriving with ample access to electricity. The northeastern border between Benin and Niger is quite visible from space. The river Niger divides the political boundaries of these two countries in this front. There is ample vegetation and forests on the southern side of River Niger, while its northern side is completely barren. The Normalized Difference Vegetation Index, commonly known as NDVI, shows this stark contrast, and the border is hard to miss. In the year 2020, the index composite shows the Benin side of the border as having a healthy amount of vegetation and the Niger side as having sparse vegetation. The river Niger can also be clearly seen creating a natural border. Since 1848, the Rio Grande, meaning Big River in Spanish, has served as part of the natural border between Mexico and the United States. Rio Grande forms the 1,255-mile segment of the border between the two countries, all the way from the twin cities of El Paso, Texas, and Ciudad Juarez, Chihuahua, to the Gulf of Mexico. The Rio Grande frequently meanders along the Texas-Mexico border, and as per the Boundary Treaty of 1970, new cutoffs and islands are transferred between US and Mexico as necessary. Just like the Rio Grande stretch of the US-Mexico border, the Mekong River in Southeast Asia and the Douro River in the Iberian Peninsula act as natural political boundaries. The international border between Laos and Thailand is 1146 miles in length, over half of which follows the Mekong River. On the other hand, the Douro River creates a national border line stretching for about 70 miles between Spain and Portugal. In a region of narrow canyons, Douro River served as a historical barrier to invasions, creating a cultural as well as linguistic divide. Astronauts aboard the International Space Station took this photograph in 2014 of land fortifications along a 12-mile stretch of the Iraq-Iran border. In the Iraqi city of Basra, near the coast of the Persian Gulf, systems of large curved earthworks, circular gun emplacements, and straight connecting roads run parallel to the international border. The same can be seen on the Iranian side as well, but in lesser numbers. First thought as oil pad installations, these were later identified as military fortifications set up during the war in the 1980s. Moreover, some fortification signatures can be spotted in the Nightlight satellite images too. The border between India and Pakistan runs over 2,000 miles in length and is also one of the most dangerous borders in the world. The border has seen wars, numerous ceasefire violations and cross-border terrorism from Pakistan. The border is therefore constantly monitored and is the only international border that can be so distinctly seen from space at night. This is due to the 150,000 floodlights installed by India on about 50,000 poles on the border. The 2015 photograph taken from the International Space Station shows the winding border between the two countries lit by security lights that have a distinct orange tone. A striking feature of this line of lights is that it appears to be more continuous and brighter than most highways in the world. The border fence, distinctly visible in night, is designed to discourage smuggling, arms trafficking and cross-border terrorism. We hope you enjoyed this video. For more Dr. Bot content, click on one of the links shown on your screen. Check out our original and handmade digital paintings, perfect for homes and wall decor or as unique gifts, mugs and t-shirt designs. At affordable prices and easy one-click download, you can customize your prints by yourself. Link in the description.